Hi guys, welcome back to Insomnia Truesilver Championships qualifiers with me, Noctis here, and we're casting some matches from the Open Qualifier. So it's quite fun, I would say. We have some different type of decks that we don't usually see in the tournaments. We see new faces. We see some veterans of the scene battling their ways through the qualifiers, and I have to say that I really enjoy this tournament. What do you say, Nox?
Yeah, I agree. I mean, we saw Blackout actually drop earlier, 3-2 against his opponent. It was pretty close, but Blackout is one of the names that we recognize. We didn't really recognize Racket when we saw him, but he ended up beating one of the guys that has a name already made for himself, which means that because of the way the qualifier works, there's a chance that some of the unknown names out there make it to the top and maybe beat the pros. And as it happened with some of the pros that we call pros right now that also had to go through qualifiers a lot, these guys also make it to the kind of pro scene that we have in Hearthstone.
Yeah, that's true. Now, everyone, I think, almost everyone wants to achieve that, right? So, unless there's someone that just plays for fun and just wants to get into that open qual. No, I saw that. I saw that. That's just wants to play for fun in the tournaments, just to have that social aspect in his favorite game. But next game that we'll see and cast, of course, will be between Noctis and Allou. Allou is like a nickname from CSGO, but that's not the player from Fnatic. And they're both playing Hunters. They're both playing. Oh wait, sorry, they're not playing both Druids. It's only one
Nope,
Druid.
there's
Noctis is
only
playing.
Hunter,
Yeah, yeah,
Warrior,
yeah.
Druid for Noctis
For
and
Noctis,
Hunter,
Warlock,
Paladin,
Paladin,
Warlock for
Hunter.
Allou.
Yes. So we'll see how it goes. We'll be starting in a few seconds, I assume, with the match. And what can I say is that seems like I'm not really that's something that I'm really hard. It's really hard to estimate when there's no ban, right? It seems like no one from those players here has an advantage when it comes to the lineups. When maybe the warrior might be an issue, but at the same time, warrior against hunter, if it's like a really aggressive hunter, the warrior might be the best answer. So it's very
It's tough to
interesting.
figure out because Allou might be playing. Like right now, I think with the comeback of Zoo, it's really difficult
Mm-hmm.
to figure out what Warlock Allou brought because we've seen the Reliquary Seeker Zoo or the Board Flood Zoo, the Gormok Zoo. I'm not sure how you want to call it, come back, and that ought to be good against Warriors unless they're running double brawl. The Druid as well is going to struggle against that. Hunter will have a good time because the Unleash the Hounds with the Juggler turn will give them a massive edge. So if there's an opening here, well, it looks like they're going to open with Hunter, I think for Hachiman, which is
Had
actually that can't be Hachiman. There's no way the names are wrong.
yes,
That's got
that's
to be
Allou
Noctis at the
versus
bottom
Noctis. Yeah.
and Allou on the Warlock. Yeah, Allou on the
Uh,
Warlock,
Not
Noctis
the
is a
other way
Hunter.
around. We'll see in a second, I guess. Yeah, Noctis on the Hunter and Allou is on the Warlock upstairs,
And
I
the
would say.
score is 0-0. We're starting a fresh match, so for sure no one here has an advantage yet. But we can see here that it looks like a more classic Zoo. I don't see any sign of. Might be a mid-range Demon Lock, right? Kind of that in between category. It's hard to figure out which one of these this is. But Noctis right now is not going to be able to put a board down that's going to keep him, able to contain Allou. Usually that's what you expect.
I'm really surprised that there was no mad scientist in turn 2. What do you think about that?
Yeah, I think. I mean, even if it gets silenced, at least you're able to get the juggler off the board. So maybe it has to do with the fact that he's already got a trap and he doesn't want to clog himself with them and he wants to time them appropriately. That's also something to keep in mind.
Yeah, okay, that makes sense. But it feels like just mad scientist in turn 2 is so powerful, especially that you have already one explosive trap in hand. So to have that 2 board clears available, because I'm guessing that he's playing 2 explosive traps, might be very important against Zoo, because usually after the first explosive trap, he's just playing, Zoo is playing recklessly, and just puts a lot of minions on board. Then you can just play the explosive trap from your hand and change the whole board.
Yeah, but this is a good spot as well to get the explosive trap out with the mad scientist after the first one triggers. But if Allou reads into this, he might just trigger the second, like the mad scientist, to get the other trap in the board and maybe fizzle, right? If there's 2 of the same traps in the deck and you kill a scientist while one of them is already established, then you've basically wasted their scientist trigger. But that's not going to happen. Allou is going to go face and trigger the trap. Giving himself, I guess, an imp to contest this. But he's in a good spot. I feel like the Warlock right now is not under too much pressure.
No, it's not. It's definitely not. And what have to be played from Noctis here, I guess this is the turn when you just have to be super aggressive and just play everything to the face apart from the one minion that kills the small imp. But he chooses not to.
Oh, we'll see how that goes. Noctis is opting for a very slow play. Very often here, what you'll see is the Hunter will simply take up the aggression to the next level and force the Warlock into a position of having to have Defend of Argus, having to have healing if he's even running any. Just like it's really difficult for
to have the
Warlock,
Mal'Ganis, right?
Right.
Oh, it's freezing trap.
That is why he did it.
Okay,
that has
now
to be why.
now it explains it. I was sure that someone that is playing an explosive trap in the deck doesn't necessarily run a freezing trap, right?
Oh, he's actually in a great spot right now.
Now
Noctis is...
Now I have to say Noctis is in the lead, I would say. It makes perfect sense what he just did. So, kudos to him.
Ouch. That's
But the Abusive Sergeant, yeah.
Wait, could you actually just play Voidcaller, go face, and then go crazy with the Abusive double PO into Doomguard over the next 2 turns?
How much damage is that?
It's almost impossible for the Hunter to stop, right? Well,
But
actually, he might have to play defensively anyway. But, I mean, you trade the Voidcaller into the
8.
into the
He's on
Shredder.
8, he's on 6. And he has available 8, 13, 16, 18 damage, 4 of lethal. So, you can trigger that anyway.
Alright, that's really mild. Probably one of the better results as far as you're concerned. And you can clean up the entire board if you want to use the Implosion.
I guess you want to, right? But then you might be dead to Unleash the Hounds.
Right. It's a single out. So I think ultimately, I mean, you're still in a bad position if it comes out.
So,
At
let's
least you're
say,
alive.
yeah,
No,
let's say
if you
that
didn't use it, you're still dead. Yeah, you still die, so...
That's true. Oh, he leaves the... Wow! He leaves the beast on board, so he gives an out
That's
with the
lethal.
second kill command.
Right. He's giving his opponent... He gave his opponent 2 outs instead of just the 1.
But
So
at the
Allou
same time,
here-
he set up a lethal himself, right? Would he be able to set up a lethal when his opponent would be at 22? He would have 2, 4, 5,
He'd be one
10,
off.
13. Yeah, he would be one off. So, smart counting from Allou. He gave his opponent an out, but at the same time, he's not... okay. He's not... He's not...
That's game.
sorry, I was just confused by the attack. I was like...
Yeah,
why
there
wouldn't
was,
you kill the 2-1? To prevent the second Doomguard, I guess. That's the only explanation, right? You kill your own creature to make it unable to play a Defend of Argus or second Doomguard from hand.
That is
That was-
insane. I
that was
think that might have been correct in like most cases in a position like this one, because you still maintain your outs. The only one that, I mean, Kill Command doesn't work anymore, but Unleash the Hounds definitely does. I think this was a good play from Noctis.
Yeah, that's true. So, in retrospect, I have to say that the play with the Mad Scientist for the Freezing Trap, that was really correct to play around the Mal'Ganis from the Voidcaller. But at the same time, I'm kinda thinking, how would it go if he would actually deal damage instead of trading and just leave the Freezing Trap for the Immigrant Boss or the Voidcaller, right?
I feel like he had won this game if he had, but we'll never know because the game is not going to be replayed. For now, Allou is going to be able to replay his Warlock against Noctis Druid. Warlock is supposed to have the edge, but the Aspirant really gives the Druid the ability to come back, in the game right now, a lot more easily. And this start from Noctis, this start is among the best you can have, probably, against
Zoo. I guess so. Otherwise, you would need Swipe. I mean, Keeper is also awesome. So, okay, Keeper is better than Swipe in this situation. On turn 3.
That is insane.
Now we can silence, clear, and go to damage to the face. And then next turn you have a blank, but it's still okay. You're ahead on board. You can use hero power to make a trade. favorable trade because most of the time your keeper will be alive. So that looks nuts. And look at
Find the
that.
mortal
That's
coil.
Shadow
Find that
Cleric.
coil. Dragon Egg. Actually,
Button.
Dragon Egg with the Defensive Argus.
And it's Shadow
be interesting.
Cleric is okay-ish too.
Right.
Yeah.
I think Dragon Egg is actually the. Oh wow, amazing. Wow. Okay, this is the reason why Blizzard makes cards like Dark Peddler. They give you the ability to see situations that otherwise never come up.
I love
This is a great example of that.
I love the discovery keyword. I really love it.
I think it is the best keyword they've made. And right now, actually based
Agreed.
on what I'm looking at, Allou with the Shadow Sun Cleric can kill the Leper Gnome, get himself an extra whelp, and keep the egg alive to get even more later on.
What about if he uses Defender of August here instead of Shadow Sun Cleric, and then
To
kill
force the whelp?
Yes, to force another whelp, because the whelps will be trading for the tutus on board. So I think it's rather important to have that additional minion when you're playing from behind. It doesn't matter how much resources do you put into that.
He is trying to set up the craziest Doomguard swing turn ever.
So he's going greedy. Will it be okay?
Now the question is, do you play Fel? I mean, Fel Reaver is made to be played on curve, right? It's
Yes.
effectively made to be played as soon as possible, as opposed to waiting. He recognizes that, so he does play the Fel Reaver. There's no big game hunter right now, but there's a power overwhelming with the
And a
Doomguard
cleric.
that can clear the board.
You can play cleric PO. I think he doesn't go for it. Okay.
I'm a little surprised by this, actually, because now he can't use that can't be right. Well, actually, wait, it plays around Savage. No, it doesn't play around Savage Roy any better than it did, but no, that's a misplay. It has to be a misplay, right?
Well, he's not getting the Doomguard, right? So that's... I mean, he's getting it, but with no effect. Just for 0 mana.
With no taunt either. He could have gotten a taunt out of it, like a 5/9 with taunt. 6/9 with taunt. 6/8, sorry. Yeah, that has to have been a misplay from Allou, but maybe I'm missing something.
Wait. He wouldn't have 5... No, wait.
Yeah, 'cause he
yeah,
trades
yeah, you're totally correct. That's a misplay. He would have a Doomguard with 6/8 and taunt instead of a 5, which would attack. So this is a huge...
Yeah, he would have lost the egg, I guess, but that's fine, right? Losing the egg is okay in that position. Because he would have had to sacrifice the 1-attack egg.
But
He power overwhelms the Void Caller, trades it into the 8/8, and then you have to use the 1-attack egg to trade. I think it's still better, but... whatever. I mean, at this point, I guess it's already behind us. I might have missed something. Maybe I miscalculated and he didn't. For now, though, without the lethal from Noctis immediately, there's a chance that Allou can stabilize if he picks up more taunts. Even a Goldshire Footman would be good. That's how bad the position is.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Goldshire Footman would be good.
Goldshire Footman for the win.
Shield Bearer.
And...
It's a coil.
that's a coil.
That's a coil.
Coil can
Right.
kill one of the minions, and you can deny also the possible 7 drops, which is only Dr. Boom, of course, in this case. Next turn, so that's cool. But you can't deny a Druid's Claw charge, and I think that will be the play next turn.
I feel like right now, Noctis, if a taunt is found, may not be able to win.
Combatant. Okay, that's 3 damage to the face. And I think this has to be done. You just play combatant, deal 3 damage to the face. You don't care about your opponent's minions. You are going through a situation when it's either do or die, and you can't spare any damage. You have so much outs in your deck. You have swipes, you have Force of Natures, you have even the Sabers, the small Druid of the Sabers, right? Then you have Savage Roars. So your opponent doesn't kill you in 2 turns. You saw already 1 PO, so you can count that out. And the possibilities of just bursting you are less likely. Are just not possible, right?
It's almost impossible. Almost impossible.
And at the same time, if your opponent has to trade with the combatant this turn, so you're sure that the damage output will be less impressive than it was. And one Defender Vargos will already play too.
There's maybe the Voidwalkers that would pose a bit of a problem, but those are kind of I think right now what Allou needed from that Dark Peddler is by far just a taunt. Any taunt, right? The Dark Peddler had to give him a Shield Bearer, which would have been amazing. Goldshire Footman to buff with the Shouted Sun Cleric. Anything but what he got.
So does he need the silence in his hand? Because I think you might actually just play it.
Yeah, play it as a body. I'd be down with that. And that's gonna be it. Noctis is gonna be able to get the game and equalize the series. Allou is gonna be 1-to-1 with his opponent. Not sure how the game was completely played out. I mean, Aggro Druid I feel is the type of deck that, even though it's supposed to be good against Zeus, sometimes when they don't get the best start, they can falter. But he got an amazing start. Innervate, Aspirant, Lepronome, Coin Keeper. That's as good as it's gonna get.
Yeah, that's true. And the one thing that I wanted to rewind into is the turn when he had the Void Color, right? So the option that he had there is to play PO first, right? Then you trade the PO on the egg. Then you trade Void Color into the Fel Reaver. Then you play you get Doomguard. Then you play
The
Defender of
Fel Reaver is not dead though. The Defender is not dead at that point. I mean, the Fel Reaver is not dead because it took only 7.
No, but you don't attack with the egg. You play the PO, this got burn 3 cards. You sacrifice Void Color, you get Doomguard. Then you play Defender to get both egg and the Doomguard taunted up, and the egg gets +1 attack, so it has 5 attack. Then you can attack with the egg to the Fel Reaver, you kill that, you get 2/1 minion, and you have a 6/8 on board.
Right, that's exactly what, like,
but
yeah, yeah, that's the same thing I was considering as well.
But
Like,
the Lepronome still lives, and that's the only difference. But you have sorry, you have a Doomguard with charge, so you can just deal
kill
6 damage to the face, or you can kill the Darnassus Aspirant, which was still alive at that point.
Right, like the problem with the play that he made, I mean, he could have started with PO on the Void Caller. Like, it didn't matter as long as he played, you know, he lost it and then Doomguard spawn and then you buff the egg and sacrifice it. Like, it doesn't matter in which order, but he had to use the egg and the 7 attack, when the Void Caller to kill the Fel Reaver. So the line of play that he took might have been consistent with the game plan that he had, but I didn't see how it would actually be better than the line of play where he had a big taunt minion. So we'll see. Well, we could probably ask him technically if we get in touch with him after. He'll probably have something to say about it. For now, he's playing as what looks like a mid-range paladin against the druid, and the druid's got really, really sticky minions. And right now, the weapon with the equality consec should be able to carry Allou for a good portion of the game, but it's still gonna be tough.
Yeah, it doesn't look good.
Oh my god, the amount of damage here is actually atrocious. Raptor, go face. Consecration is gonna have to hit sooner than later, man.
How do you what do you think about Raptors in general?
I feel like because it's 3 mana, it's clunky. It's funny, right? Because I thought it would be like a lot better than I gave it credit for, and it feels like the best times to use it so far have been not in the early game, but in the mid game on a clunky turn where the opponent suddenly doesn't want to deal with it. Whereas Shredder's always good on Curve, Raptor is better like on 5 or 6 or 7 when you've got something else to play with it. On its own, it's not big enough. That's what I found. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I still prefer Shade for like turn 3 play, but I prefer the Raptor for a versatile late game.
Okay. So now, Owl. If you play Owl. What is the other option? You just have to hero power, right? So it's kind of weird. Better is just to kill the Pile Shredder and go into the Consecration. Yes. Oh, it's not as good as it was before, no. I mean, the possible outcomes are just worse.
That's game.
Yep, that's it.
Is it already game? I think so. 6.
Well, Salvador is
9
8.
plus
8.
Yeah, he's
11.
Well, actually, no. Hero power is lethal. Yeah, never mind.
Yeah.
Innervate hero power will give him the lethal.
4, 7, and 8, 15. No, wait, that's 16. I don't know what I'm talking about. That's +4 from the Druid of the Saber. That's so much damage.
So aggro Druid doing what aggro. These games are quick, Lothar.
Yes, they are.
These games
really
are quicker than I even realized. Like, he's got an overkill of 2, if he even needed to, right?
Turn 5. I mean, turn 4. No, no,
What
just
an
5.
insane game.
He had Dionysus that was killed. Wow. Well, anyway, so that was Noctis taking the turn and bringing it 2-1 for in his favor.
Him?
Still with Aggro Druid available because it's last hero standing. So he will have another chance of smashing his opponent into bits in 5 quick turns.
Yeah, it's gonna have to be against the Hunter though from Allou, so that might be a bit difficult because Hunter's able to put down a board as fast as you can, and they might be able to get a bit more damage output if you let them stick around. What do you think is favored in this matchup, Lothar?
Now it all depends what kind of traps is the Hunter playing. Because if it's playing Freezing Trap, it's not as good. Just because of the amount of minions with charge that can Druid just play and get the Freezing Trap back, right? So Druid of the Saber is perfect for that. Just get Druid of the Saber back into your hand for 4 mana with charge into attack, that's fine. You just played around Freezing Trap perfectly. And your, you know, your Raptors, your Pile Shredders, your Feather Reavers are free to attack. And I think the very important card for Druid here is the Feather Reaver, just to get it as soon as possible. If you can get it like double Innervate, turn 1, yeah, sure. Go for it.
Yeah, if you can get it out and dodge the Freezing Trap, then you win the game, basically.
Yes.
That's pretty much the general consensus on this. Now, you see here the Raptor is actually a lot better than the Shade, so even though I said I prefer the Shade last turn, like, you know, last game we were talking about the difference between both. I still think the Shade in many cases is a bit better for the long game, if you get it early. But the Raptors also feel a bit more versatile once you transition to the mid game. So I feel like the Raptor is also working out in the early game as well.
Yep, that's true. It looks very promising for Noctis here. Just close the game until maybe not 5 this time, but very, very fast also.
So if you kill the Aspirant, you're locking your opponent to Shredders and Keepers of the Grove on 4.
Yeah, that's fine. I mean, your Raptor is just doing really good job here. You can't kill the Raptor with the bow, so it's okay.
Yeah, the thing is, you don't even want to kill it, right? Like, you don't even feel like killing the Raptor. It's just such a mediocre card to kill because it's got only 3 attack and it spawns a 1-drop, which is also kind of annoying, but it's just annoying enough that it leaves something on the board. So this Raptor is actually still...
Dust Devil.
Yeah. There's almost nothing you can do against these things.
I just want to say that Shadow Bomber has free attack, but I don't know why, but I always think that Shadow Bomber has free attack.
Because it deals 3 damage?
Probably. That's probably true.
Yeah, that's probably why you feel that way. Seems about logical. Alright, so do you go for the Juggler trade gamble with the Web Spinner, or do you just counter Lothar? Counter Lothar it is. Alright, so, I mean, the thing with Aggro Druid that I find really funny is that we used to say that Hunter was the Smork class, but now, like, I'm not even kidding, but that's funny that it took so long for people to figure out Aggro Druid because it shows the design limitation that Force of Nature Savage Roar put on the class, because when they decide that they want to play something ridiculously fast, they always have a finisher, right? They've got it very often. And so the ramp and Force of Nature Savage Roar being determining factors of the class really shine in this archetype specifically.
I mean, this deck would be still playable without Force of Nature. Savage Roar is very often played in this deck just as a card that deals 6 damage because you have 3 minions on board. Sorry, 2 minions on board. And because that's basically Fireball. And what is not okay about a Fireball, right? The problem is...
well, that's exactly why they had to change Force of Nature. They changed Force of Nature in the alpha because you could combo it. It was 5 mana. And they figured Force of Nature is the problem. But in truth, the problem has always been Savage Roar. Like, that is the most powerful of both cards. If you have to ask, you know, which of these two is the stronger one is obviously Savage Roar. It can be played in every type of aggressive deck, and you're always going to get good mileage out of it.
You know, I made today a comparison with Savage Roar doing coaching to get my new player like a perspective of what the card can do, right? And the situation in that game was that Savage Roar was basically, I told him to imagine that he's playing a mage, and he has an access to a spell that for 3 mana, if you have 3 minions on board, it deals 6 damage to the face and 2 damage to a minion.
Right, if you want to use it with your hero power.
Yes, to trade. So it actually, it's like a toolbox card that can do multiple things, and it's amazing at that. So Savage Roar is something that puts a lot of poor pressure into the deck single-handedly. And
Right.
we've seen aggro druids already popping out before, but they were not as powerful before introduction of cards like Druid of the Saber because of the charge. It's like
Yeah, the fact that you can charge with charge is a really dangerous mechanic for aggressive decks because that's what enables them to really just take you completely off guard. And because of Savage Roar, they can do that on any turn for very cheap. So I mean, we just saw Savage Roar win another game, right? He was out of a little bit of damage. He was looking at one off lethal at the last turn, and then Savage Roar comes out because he's got a charge minion. It works. If it didn't have charge, he only got again 1 off lethal. So
Yeah,
it's always
exactly.
giving you that extra bit of damage that you can get. And in that deck, now that they have Druid of the Claw that can charge, Druid of the Saber that can charge, there's a lot that they can do.
Yeah, that's true. And we'll be searching for a new game for you guys to cast. And in the meantime, we'll go to a short break. Don't
Yeah,
go
we'll
anywhere.
be right back, guys. Stay tuned.